back to our 2018 Origins Summer Preview. I am here with Zev from Wizkids. You've got a few things to show us, but what do you got first?
All right, so the first thing I have is Star Trek Galactic Enterprises. This is actually a reskin of an older game called Fantasy Business.
Okay.
In this, we are Ferengi on Deep Space Nine selling various items. You can see some of the things here. We got phasers, replicator units, Dabo machines, and a few other things. In this game, we are auctioning cards that we're going to be selling, and these cards, we like have a store, so they're inventory. So even when you sell them, you don't lose the card, it's just the stock that we constantly have.
All right.
There's also action cards, which are kept face down and secret, which you can also auction off, and of course, they mess things with other players or help you or whatnot. The goal of the game is to make the most platinum, because Ferengi, right? Profit is profit. Profit is where it's at.
That's the first rule.
That's the first rule of acquisition. Profit is profit. So what we do is when we auction off these things, we grab them here, and then we do a Latinum squeeze phase where we try to price fix the items. You can, and here you have a pad here, so you're going to write down in each round what you're going to sell the items that you have. You can't go below the base value of the thing, and you can't go more than double the value of the item. If you are the only one that has it, it's nice and easy. You probably set it at the highest price. Boom, you get your money. Very, very easy, very simple. The fun stuff comes in when a couple of people have the same item. So for example, Rob, if you have pads and I have pads, and they are 4, so we can look at each other and go, well, sir, do we want to monopolize and go for 8 each and make a nice hefty sale there? And we might say, okay. Or we still might say, okay, but when we write down the price, you may put down 8, but I may put down 6. So when we go to say, hey, how much are you selling this for? And you go, we're selling for 8. I go, I'm going 6. So you don't get to sell your pads
at all.
Ooh. They get to buy from me, and because I was the lowest price, I also get a 2 platinum bonus per card that I have.
Oh, so you still get the 8 anyway.
So I still get the 8 anyway. But if I had 2 or 3 of those pads, so I would get 6, 6, 6, and then a 2 bonus, 2 bonus, 2 bonus.
Okay.
Now let's say a third person joins us, and they get some pads also. They want to get in on the pads action. Same thing, we all discuss, and we could say, sure, we'll set a price, and we could say 7, 8, whatever. And let's say that again, you stick to the deal and say 8. I go, you know what, I won't be that bad, I'll go 7, but our third person goes 5.
Okay.
So now, when we go to sell, no one buys from you. They do buy from me at the price that I set, but they buy also from the third person who gets the 2-point bonus per card they have. So really, that's the game. It's selling the stuff. It's knowing when to cooperate and then when to go behind the scenes and, backstab and get a better price for it, hopefully.
Based on your examples, all I'm hearing here is that no one's buying anything from me. You are clearly a Ferengi in a former life, sir.
I clearly was.
And is this, what's the player count on this?
Player count is 3 to 8, and it takes about, I believe, 45 minutes to an hour. But also, I just want to stress, the action cards, as I said, those do funky stuff. This allows you, let's say, to swap out cards with people. It allows you to auction, pick out a card to auction before someone else. It can make you sell cards, so it can do a lot of crazy stuff. So don't underplay these cards. It's a way to get back into the game and or just hold on to what you have.
Can it make Odo appear and mess up my whole sale?
There is an Odo card, yes. There is a he's in one of the pictures at least.
Nice.
So.
Okay. And is this available now or?
This is available. Yeah, we premiered it. Actually, we had some of the UK. No, actually, we were supposed to have some of the UK Games Expo. They didn't show, so they are actually premiering here at Origins.
Perfect. All right. And so we have this, and you have some other things to show us as well.
All right. So I'm going to bring out Pungent Party. Pungent Party is a dungeon crawl with some craziness, because what would games be like without craziness? And I'll just throw out some of the dice. Game comes with 40 dice. It goes to 5 players, 2 to 5 players, although there are 7 characters in the game, but you play with up to 5 maximum.
Up to 5, okay.
You have cards like you have characters like the rogue, the wizard, the barbarian, the rogue. Your typical fantasy exact archetypes. If you notice here, you'll see that each character has a special ability. They also have a health count, and they have a check mark. Check mark tells you how many times you can use your ability. So in this game, you can gain experience points and unlock more health and more time that you can use your special abilities. But, so how do we do this dungeon crawl? We have these quest cards. Each quest card that you play in the game adds 30 seconds to the game. You play with a minimum of 6 cards. So you could play as little as 3 minutes in this game.
Wow. Okay.
And as high, of course, as you want. There are 66 quest cards. But, again, as I said, it's not your typical dungeon crawl. This is very crazy, stand-up, throw dice, dexterity kind of game. So, for example, we have here Drop Dead. So when this comes up, so we read, it says, all characters stand 5 paces apart. On the count of 3, each character throws 1 die to the character on their right. You must catch a die coming to you from that person, and the quest is complete when no dice were dropped. So everybody stands up, takes a die, whoop, and starts throwing, and you got to make sure it's caught. If you fail, you take a penalty, and this one in particular is for every die dropped, the party takes a damage or loses a life, and the party is a pool, so they can decide who takes the damages.
Right.
Also, if it's incomplete, it goes into an incomplete pile. If you do complete it, it goes into a complete pile, and I'll explain that a little later. Just as another thing here, we have nice simple one. Math is hard. This is you roll a monster die. This is the black die here, and you would add it. Let's just put it here. And basically, we all have to frantically put our dice here to make the sums. So this one is 5. Yeah, you have to put a 2 here to 7. Right. So you have to roll exactly, and then you have to keep going.
All right.
Yeah, and then this one is 8, but then this has to make 10.
10 that direction.
So we have to figure that out. This one is Macho Meeple. You assemble 4 wands into a square pattern. You place the meeple in the middle of the square. All characters flick their dice and try to knock the meeple out of the square.
And the wands we have in here?
Yep, and you have these little wands. Okay. They look like tongue depressors.
They do.
But those are the ones, and you also get a meeple because the meeple plays in something. There's one like Maiden in a Tower. You have to stack the dice 10 high and then place the meeple on top of it. So really good. This one I like also a balancing act. All characters stack 2 dice on their own foreheads, 1 at a time, and the mission is complete. The quest is complete when everybody has 2 dice stacked on their forehead. So just a lot of crazy dexterity stuff. So what we were saying about experience points, how you get that is if you finish all the cards within the time frame, then all your completed quests are worth 1 experience point.
Okay.
If you don't do that, then all your completed quests are half an experience point. And again, it's a party pool of experience points, so you can say, hey, we got 5 experience points, how do we want to spend it? And then you can dole it out as needed. That's a Fungeon quest. There's 66 of these cards. There's lots of health tokens, experience point tokens, and check marks. 40 dice. There's a set of 5 dice for each character, matching their color. So you have blue for that. You'll have gray dice for that, and the monster dice are the black dice.
All right. And you mentioned something about timing. Is there a timer?
No, that we tell you use your cell phone or something. So we're not shy at saying no. There's no sand timer. It's use your phones.
So
everyone's got one.
Do that.
Yeah. So use some sort of timing device to do that, because you can set this as a variable pace, and again, it's 3 minutes to however you want to do.
However long.
Exactly.
Okay. And this is available now?
This is available now.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
And what's the retail on this?
This is, I believe, $29.99.
$29.99.
While the other game, the Star Trek Galactic Enterprises, is $24.99. So basically $30, and that's mainly because there's so much dice in the game. That's why.
And you have something else to show us.
I do indeed. Yes. I'll just move this over. All right. And then I guess, I'll jump here. Endless Pass. Endless Pass, we are Vikings. And we are fighting what's called the Endless. These are these cards here. So on your turn, you can walk the pass. Walk the pass is you draw what's called the pass cards, which have that back. Any Endless you reveal, you put on the table. You have a Viking. There's generic for everybody to start with, and then there's a name thing where the number of cards you draw and the number of action cards you have are variable. Okay. And also you would have a special ability.
So it's generic, where it can be just symmetrical,
or you can be
or it can be
exactly symmetrical, or you change it up. The object of the game is to be the Viking with to reach 10 glory and survive the turn, or be the last Viking standing. As I said, you can fight Endless, and you do that by using swords, Greek fire. There are shields where you can evade the Endless. What's interesting is any Endless you kill, you get glory. Any Any endless you evade don't do damage to you, but any endless that you don't kill or evade do damage to you.
Okay.
And they also remain on the board and go to the next player. And any endless they draw gets added to that pile. So the endless can keep growing
So
if you don't take care of them.
So though it's not cooperative, there is that cooperative nature of trying to deal with the growing threat of the endless.
Exactly, because it could come around to you, and then, oh my God, you're facing so many different ones. There's also runes in the game, which can give you health and glory. The other thing is you can also fight other Vikings. So you can announce an attack using swords or Greek fire, and you can fight each other after you take care of the endless. If you want, you can fight another Viking for either glory or health. So it's a way to get maybe something back. If you have some cards you can use, it's a way to get pump up your glory and or restore some health for you, or reduce someone else's health.
So how does a turn work in this?
So a turn works is you're going to draw, in the generic side, you draw 3 cards from the pass.
Okay.
So we have like a pass deck here. So I would go, 1, 2, 3. I would drop any endless I have and keep other things. I also have a hand of action cards, and usually, and again in the generic, it's 3. So these are the cards that I have. So let's say I got these 2 endless. So I can use a sword to defeat 1 endless. And I would get a glory. I can use Greek fire to defeat 2 endless, but Greek fire, since it explodes, it also does 1 damage to me. But I can kill 2, get 2 glory, take a damage. I can play this card, and this could, on me or anybody else, I can increase the number of cards or draw in the pass by +1, or decrease it by -1.
It's a dual purpose.
So exactly. So you can do either one. Absolutely. This one is steal. This is a card that allows me to steal an action card from one opponent. Or if I'm still in the pass thing, I can actually take a card from here. But I have to watch out. If it's an endless, it goes here. If not, and that's just some of the cards. There's shields, there's an evade, and then there's also a hide card. A hide card is basically a null turn. You just play the hide card. You can't do anything else. You can't replenish your cards. You can't fight anybody, nothing. But you can determine the direction of the endless. So I could actually change the direction, say, oh, it's going this way, but you're winning. You know what? I'm going to hide. Now the endless are going after you. So yeah, that's
so it's a little take that, a little co-op, little just kind of all out. I really like this. Looks like this artwork's a little comic book-ish in a way.
Yeah, it does have a little feel of that 4-color art kind of thing. Yep.
And this is available.
This is available. Yep. Also $25, $24.99.
Perfect. And you still have other things to show us.
Yep. I'll just do one more quick, and then that one, right? So we'll do. All right. So we have, I won't open it, but basically it's Curio, the Lost Temple.
All right.
It is a puzzle-solving game, so not an escape room game, but a puzzle-solving game that's replayable because there are so many modules. So you have lots of clues. There are like 4 modules in the game, and there are several 50-card decks, so you can play with the different cards. Plus, with the, and it's like a sort of team where I'm shouting out answers to a player there while you're giving me some things on mine, while someone else is giving to that. So there's just a lot of craziness.
It's kind of real time.
Yeah, real time. Yep. There's we don't have an app yet, but there's a timer module where there's a sand timer where like 2 players have to touch this button, so to speak, to reflip the sand timer because the game can end if the sand timer runs out. Then you're over. And then you score points based on how quickly you solve all the puzzles that you were playing for that round. There's a time chart that gives you the score based on what module, I think, and how long it took you to do that.
So how many different modules are included?
I believe there are 4 modules. There's the shaped modules. There's one where you use the wheel. There's one where you use this board over here. So yeah, it's all different kinds of cards. And there's like, I think 200 cards.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a very, the fact that it's a puzzle game that's replayable, so it's not one and done, it's a constant use thing. So that's Curio, the Lost Temple.
And the playtime on this?
I think it's 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, I think,
and
per
player
module.
Count?
Goes to 4, I believe. And it's available, it's it's like 3 to 10 minutes. Oh, sorry, it's 2 to 5 players.
Right.
Yep, and it's $35.
And so this is available now?
And this is available now, actually premiering at the show here as well.
Release here. And then you have one last one to show us, which we have set up over here.
I'll move over a little bit.
I will.
So this I like to call a modern dungeon crawl.
Okay.
You are it's a modern military unit. We call it SEAL Team Flix. You are playing SEAL Team. It's a cooperative game. It's 1 to 4 players, and you can play 1 up to 4 SEALs. You have a mission objective. You can play just the straight missions, or or there's 17 branching missions in the campaign. Based on success and failure, it branches into the various things.
Could keep, okay, so
exactly.
It's got a sort of a campaign thing.
Exactly.
Right.
It has a campaign thing. The main story is you are going after a bunch of eco-terrorists, and you're trying to, infiltrate, get the photo evidence, rescue hostages. There are 6 boards in the game. This is just one of them.
Right, yes, we
and you got a whole bunch.
A whole bunch more boards.
Yeah, there's a bank vault, a hotel, a subway station, airplane on a tarmac. So all kinds of crazy stuff there. These walls are constructed. You put them on, and usually it's just a one-time construction to put these walls on, and then you can store them in the box. If you notice, the seal also has modern weaponry. They do come in. Everyone has the Colt 1911, but they all have different weapons as well. We have like combat shotguns, we have sniper rifles, we have battle rifles, machine guns, and so on and so forth. In this game also, so it's called Flix because there is a dexterity element. The dexterity element comes in 2 forms. One, when you're shooting. So for example, Marky over here is going to use the Bellini M104, so it's a combat shotgun, and it looks like there's a stack of, looks like 2 bullets or 3, I can't tell from here, but so in this case, when you want to shoot, you can have all 3 here and just shoot.
Wow, so you're not rolling.
Right, you don't roll. You're actually flicking the bullets. So, and that way I took the patrol, so he'd get knocked off the board, but he can come back later. He gets put in the tango pool.
Okay.
So that's part of the flicking. The other flicking comes in, we have 3 sideboards. One of them is a sniper sideboard. So if you have a sniper rifle, you would, based on what level, rookie, veteran, or operator, you would take the bullet and you would try to shoot it by flicking. And what you want to do is, depending on the level, either touch the red dot or completely cover the red dot, and or touch the red dot but not touch like the blue or yellow dot. So you want the headshot, basically.
I'm going to refer to this as a shuffleboard mechanism.
It's a shuffleboard mechanic, yes. And then, by the way, if the sniper has a hostage, then you have to be really careful not to shoot the hostage. Yes. Nice. So the other things you can do is, if you notice these doors, there's a red side and a green side. The red side is electronically locked. So there's a sideboard with like an E-lock, and you're going to roll that number of dice and cover those numbers, and then you got to flick to knock those discs off the numbers, and that's how you've hacked the code to the door.
Very cool.
And then the last thing is a bomb defusal, where you have to flick to knock discs off the various colored wires. So that means you've cut the right wires and defused it. And you have like 10 seconds to do that.
This is a camp. Plays as a campaign.
It plays campaign or regular.
All right, but if your character's playing campaign, they get more stuff as they move.
Yes, so they can specialize. You unlock specializations, and then you can unlock use of better or higher grade military equipment. We have snake cams, active camouflage. We have HE grenades. I mean, flashbangs. We have all kinds of cool military items here, and of course all the weapons.
Nice. And when will this be available?
This is actually available at the show. It's $59.99.
$59.99.
Really good price.
All right. This looks really. I don't think I've ever seen one with a dexterity where I'm actually shooting at it.
And also the modern theme has been is very different. That's what we wanted to do. Do something.
I appreciate you sitting down with us, Zev.
Thank you for having me.
A lot of good games, and we will see you folks a little later.
Thank you.